Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to part 1 of the Perfect Grade Strike Rogue Gundam. As you can see, I do have my master grade back here. This is already the 1 foot. But before we get started, I'm just going to go over some of the tools that I use. Of course, nippers. A blade. This one's actually a woodworking knife kit. It works great. I really like the handle. It's nice and thick, and it's going to be very durable. Now this came with the Perfect Grade Unicorn slash Banshee light kit. I use this for separating parts. These are excellent parts separators with a little helpful thing at the end. I do have another X-Acto knife. It's a lot smaller blade tip. I'll use this one for like the polycaps and stuff like that. I do have 3 Gundam markers, but for this one, because of the letter colors, I'm going to be using mostly the gray one here, or else I'm going to be using the Gundam marker panel line one for probably the dark reds here and here, just to give you an idea. And tweezers. Always have a set of tweezers around. When you're doing Gundams, you never know when they might come in handy. Excuse me. So, let me grab the runners here. There's quite a few of them today. And I'm sorry about the plastic noise. Probably a little bit of that screech. Now, one thing when you first get the instruction manual, you will notice that there are actually dark squares around the parts that you will use for that part of the kit, which is great. Very handy for if you're doing painting or whatever. So you will need this C runner. There's going to be a lot of bag noises at the beginning of these ones when I'm showing the runners. Because I am keeping them in their bags, because I have all the bags labeled. I forgot another part. Okay. Well, we'll clean up 2 parts today. Because usually I show 1 part, but this time I just noticed I forgot 1 more. So you'll need 2 L runners. Did I even use the part out of this one? Why did I have to have it doing that? You will need the very small P runner. And you will need the oh so beautiful O runner. Very fancy, Very blingy, very beautiful. That silver with just that slight hint of pink really brings it out. And you will need the F runner. But because I forgot also this great part right here, we will also do that right now. So my habit is to always bring it closer to me, so this is going to be very difficult for me. So on your nippers, you'll notice that they're V shaped in the middle, and then there's a flat side. What I like to do is do the 2-cut version. So I'll have the V dip part towards the part and cut it, the nub, that closer towards the sprue. And I'll just continue on doing that for each part until I can say, I don't need you anymore. You can go over there. So now we're just left with this part here. Now is the time where you're going nice and close. Send those little nubs flying all over the place. And sorry, just doing a whole bunch of other stuff. You will notice you can kind of see those white marks there. That's where the nubs were. That's where I'm going to take this, put it down. Sorry for that, headphone users. I'm going to take my knife very carefully, because this is a sharp knife, and just place it flat against the plastic and take off the nub slowly as to not cut into the plastic. Now there's a million different ways to do this process. This is my way of doing it. I know people who do that second cut and then sand it from there or whatever. If I sand, I do not have the proper stuff to get it shiny again, so it's kind of not an option for me. And I'm just moving it all around, making sure that I remove every single nub mark. And then I'm feeling it with my thumb. And that also helps remove any of the white stuff that will appear from basically the plastic being a little bit stressed. But as you can see, that does a pretty good job. Put that off to the side for now. We'll need this part again in a bit. Now let's move on to this one. I'm going to do the exact same thing. Now see, I can say bye-bye, bro. Don't need you for a bit. Going to come as this is all outer armor here. So basically, there for the outer armor, because there could possibly be stickers, there will be some of the Gundam marker on this piece. Don't know how well you can see it, but there are panel lines that need to be brought out. So because of this stuff and because of what I've read and all that kind of stuff, instead of taking this whole kit up to my sink upstairs, washing it all with warm soapy water, rinsing them all off, and then letting them dry for 24 hours. That's what I used to do with every single kit I did. Didn't matter. Master grade, perfect grade, high grade, everything. And then I decided, you know what? I'm going to go with just the outside armor that could possibly have any stickers or anything on it. I'm going to wipe it down with an alcohol swab. Just in case for some reason Bandai didn't remove all the chemicals that they use for removing the parts. Now this one's pretty dry, but it'll do the job. And of course you want to actually clean up the part first. And because this is outer armor, I'm going to quickly do it my way. Let's actually bring it up to me. You might actually hear it. Just because this is what people will see when they first see the Gundam. You gotta remember that inner frame is inner frame. Whereas you want to spend a lot of time on your outer armor pieces. This one I'm going to throw away. I believe you can get a box like this for about $5 or so. They're cheap, inexpensive. You can get more of them if you want to. Okay, sorry about that. That was me just reminiscing about the. I do have music on in my headphones that I wear because of YouTube. So yeah, I always listen to music. Always have. Probably always will. It's just one of those things where it's a good idea to have something going in the background, because you will start to go into your thoughts, and that can be a dark place for some people. So it's better to have something going on that you can hear or take a break and watch for a little bit, like another YouTube video or whatever you want. So this part is pretty bland right now, I'd have to say. Now there is a really big green Gundam for the Iron Blood Orphans. I do not know its name. No idea what its name is. So this Gundam marker is very special in the fact that all you have to do is literally touch it to the part and let the marker spread all by itself. Just let gravity do all the work, and it will just follow the lines itself. I'm literally just holding it there so then the ink can actually get down into the part. Because there is a very big panel line right there. There we go, that's got it. So now I'm just literally touching it to the grooves that I can see that I want to bring out a bit more. And yes, I do know that this is only the foot, but it's important to have a consistent way of doing things no matter what the part. And once you get all those lines kind of the way you like them, just set it aside. And that's what I'll be doing here in a second once we get the rest of these lines. So as you can see, it looks different. It looks really ugly right now. But that's just the way it goes. It'll look really ugly until you wipe it all off. And this is the only time that I will show this stuff in the video, so this is for new people, just in case they're curious. So that's what it'll look like. Not very pretty. But by the time we need this part, it'll be dry enough, and I'll show you the rest of it. So let me just grab my parts. Oh yes, and I also forgot that you will need the T-runner, which is the polycap. One of the polycap runners. There's two for this one for the backpack, I believe. Or there are all three for this one and no for the backpack and sky grasper, or however they work it. However Bandai feels. Or whatever Bandai feels like that day. So let me grab these parts here. Move that out of the way. There we go. No more nubs. Nubs, go bye-bye for now. Thank you. So this part here kind of has one end that has a whole bunch of ridges, or it's kind of geared. This is a polycap that will go inside. This is a polycap, and this is just a normal plastic little piece here. So what you'll do first, take this part and shove it up right into this hole right here. Just whichever way it fits in is the way it'll go. Other way around. Wait, are you sure? Yes, it goes the other way around. There you go. So it'll look like that. the polycap is in there. It just blends in so well. Now on the side that's ridged, yes, this side right here, so there are little ridges on there. We'll take this plastic part. One side has a couple holes on it, right over here. Those will go towards the middle, towards the polycap that we just put on. So we'll do that. So it'll look like this. And then we'll take this one and shove it on to the other side. So it'll look like that when it's finished. With there's a little curve here. Make sure that that faces outwards, not inwards. Put that up there for a minute because we'll need it right away here. Now this is the first time you'll see the chrome parts. These two little pistons and this little polycap here. Doesn't matter which way this polycap goes, it's the same all the way around. Except for you want the holes up because you're going to put these tiny little chrome parts. So then they're sideways. So then their big flat end side parts are going to be facing towards each peg of the polycaps. And we'll do that again. And sorry about the weird noise in the background. That's just someone upstairs. So we got these two weird looking cover thingers. Now you can see how much detail a perfect grade has as well on just on its inner frame. This is stuff you will never see. Never. It just Bandai gives it to us because they are so nice. That's pretty well it. Like they could really just make this just a plain gray piece. No detail at all. Yeah. You pay a lot of money, at least $200 approximately for a perfect grade, so there is value for your money in every perfect grade, even though some of them are a lot more frustrating than others. So we'll take this first part that we made in the first step, and you can kind of see that there's a little curve to this side. I'm going to make sure that this polycap I would put at the back goes in there, and we're just going to put this peg into the very front hole. So then it'll look like this. Then we can shove this all closed. And you want to close it so then there's very little gap in between the two parts. That's good. And we're going to put this all off to the side. You'll notice that they'll get you to do a part, put it off to the side. You'll use it later. Do this part, put it off to the side. You'll do it later. Or you'll continue it later, should I say. Now this part has 3 little polycaps. 2 of them are the exact same height. One of them is a little bit taller, but they're all the exact same shape. And also the taller one has a little bit of a smaller hole in it. You'll need these 2 inner frame parts, as well as these ones. So what we'll do, we'll take this polycap, which is the longer one, or taller one, or however we want to say it, and it can only go into this hole here, so put it into the hole. This is what it'll look like. We'll take this second half, close it all together. Okay, now before we bring in the other parts, there's a little polycap port here. There's a polycap there, and that's the plastic. And you'll do that exact same thing again, only with the other piece. Now we start bringing in parts. So you'll notice that there's a whole bunch of pegs. Basically the only 2 that we care about is this very front one up here and the polycap hole. So we're going to take this part with the pegs facing down and put the whole thing onto the very front, and with our 2 little chrome pieces facing towards this part up here, I'm going to shove it into the polycap hole. So it'll look like this once it's done. Now we'll take this other side and close it all up. Just like that. Now I will mention right now that if you have seen my Wing Gundam build, then there won't be as much fast forwarding. There's hardly any wiring. So this is a really good kind of beginner-ish one. If you don't want to do the lights, you don't have to. I'll do the lights. Yes, there is a light in the head they have to build, but it is nowhere near as complicated as the Wing Gundam. The Wing Gundam, that should be that one needs a redesign so badly. I'll just say that. Now, we'll bring in this part back in again. So, it's all dry. Only it still looks really ugly. Now what I do is I literally take my finger and just start rubbing at all those ugly parts. And I will mention that with the light gray, you don't have to worry as much, but with the black Gundam marker of the same type, you have to get it pretty well right off, like right away with the Q-tip, or else it is a pain in the rear end to get off. You can easily blister your fingers with it. So I love my gray one, and that's why I'm going to use this one for the darker areas. But as you can see, Cleans up pretty nice. I'm going to put this flat on the ground. I'm going to grab the top foot part, which I've already done the panel lining on, and which from now on I will always do the panel lining before I even show you guys any parts. And then this gray weird thing, which they could have done what they did to the straight red frame, which is another great kit, and that is to have these as little grippers. And the straight red frame is still from the same series if you like the series. So I'm going to shove that down and make sure that's all the way down. Okay, so that's all the way down. And we're going to close it up. Oh, the snap. Oh, the snaps. Yes. So that's another thing with perfect grades. You will hear snaps. You will hear crunches. You will hear different sounds you don't normally hear with a master grade. With the perfect grade unicorn and banshee, when you put the, it kind of has a weird foot gimmick. So it has a fold up right here for the joint. When you snap it down, it's a real thunk. If you haven't seen it, look it up. It is, the first time you hear it, you think, oh my goodness, I have broken something. No, not the case with the perfect grade unicorn. That means, yes, you did this right. Good job. So we're going to put this aside, as I've put this aside, but I'm going to bring it back in now because we need it again. Now we're going to bring in this first part that we had. There's a whole bunch of ridges and stuff that'll fit right into the bottom parts here. So make sure it's in as good as you can. More snaps. Which is always a good sign. Oh, sorry. Kind of doing this a little bit later than I normally would be, but anyways, want to take this pink part and I will say, no matter what I basically feel, if you like a Gundam, go for it. Really. If you like a Gundam, go for it. Like my unicorns. I have 5 RX-0s. So kind of a little bit obsessed with them. But that was my first perfect grade. Kind of like this. This was my very first Gundam I ever did. So this perfect grade is kind of an homage to the master grade for me. Now we're going to take another one of these really weird gray parts that they could have had as stickers. And make sure it all lines up. Make sure that it's in all the way. That's another thing with Gundam, is make sure all the parts are in as far as you can. With a few more snaps. That is as good as that part's going to get. That's one thing with this one, is that I'm noticing a lot of seam lines. Like, sure, you could fix it with glue and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to. Trust me, after you deal with a glue model like I have, which is a Lancaster, it's a great kit and all. I used glue on it. It is falling apart. I could try and reglue everything. It will just fall right back apart. So, I'm going to take this foot, front of the foot, these two pegs, slide right on in, and with this very light pink armor piece, we're going to slide it in, and of course there's the perfect grade snap. 1, 2. We have 2 feet now. So that's oh, you've got to be kidding me. This is why you always look at the images really carefully. I've just realized that I put in a part right near the very beginning, upside down. So, do need this. I want to just see if I can fix it here really quickly. Come on. There we go. And in order to take a Gundam apart, you just follow the steps. Only in reverse. If you want, you can take off that part as well. This is why this is so handy. Instead of just trying to... Oh, that was not a good snap, but... Yes, I did. Alright, it's an easy-ish fix once you get down to the problem. I've taken my perfect grade unicorn Gundam pretty well apart before without any troubles, so I was thinking, how's the ankle gonna fit into this? Make sure that you don't have it like this, you have it like this. So I'm just gonna go back and redo this one and finish up putting this back together. But you guys don't need to watch me do all that anyways. So I'll show you guys in the next episode. So until then, as always, remember to rock on.